Hi everyone, this is Noelle for Petitti Garden Centers. We're here in Oakwood Village and it's January. It's kind of dreary outside and gray, so bring nature inside with houseplants. Houseplants are great for purifying your air and increasing oxygen around you. And since we spend a lot of time indoors, especially over the winter time, it's great to have that increased oxygen, especially to boost your mood and just, make your house happy and your family happy around you. So these plants that you see here, these are all what we call medium indirect lighting plants. So there's no, these plants do not want direct sunlight on them. They want kind of a bright, airy room, if you will, just a little bit away from sunny windows if you do get some sun. And so maybe like 5 to 8 foot away from eastern or western or southern window, even a northern window, they could be away from that as well. These types of plants are, some of them make great floor plants, some can go on tables, some can be taken in the office if you get a little bit more light in the office, so that's a good thing too. The one that I showed that was really easy care is the spider plant. You're probably very familiar with spider plants, but they're just so darn easy and they make a great hanging plant. They can sit on shelves and what have you. So that's a really easy one to have. They can be slightly dry to evenly moist and do really nicely for us. Great air cleaner. Down below is actually another type of fern. So your fern family can really go into low, medium and bright lighting. It's still considered a shade plant, if you will. So when you take it outside, if you do so in the summertime, you'd want to keep it shaded. You want to keep it either underneath an overhang or shaded by some taller trees, and that's always something to keep in mind. So indoors, this button fern is a great medium light plant. Again, spray misting, keeping the moisture in the soil relatively even, maybe a little bit wetter is a good thing for that plant. I have this unusual variegated plant, and you might notice there's more color and variegation to the foliage here with these plants. This is what they call a Kalia Thea. Kalia Thea is a sort of a distant cousin of the prayer plant. I wasn't able to show that to you today, but Kalia Thea have gorgeous patterns on their foliage, and then underneath it's usually a bright purple, like burgundy purple. Really, really pretty foliage plant. Again, slightly dry to evenly moist is a great way to go with them as well. In front of the Kalia Thea, I have what we call a carnivorous plant. So normally you would see Venus flytraps, or like this one, this is a real small pitcher plant. These plants, again, do not want direct sunlight at all. So a medium to bright indirect lighting is really good for them. And they tend to dry out, and they're more of like a swampy plant. So if you keep it in the medium light level, you won't have to water as often. And again, spray misting or keeping its dome on top of it to keep the humidity around that plant is ideal, okay? Ivies. When you have a variegated ivy, you want to put it in a medium to bright light level. If you have a plain green leaf ivy, usually medium to low light level. So it can kind of change, but if you have a variegated one and you find out you've got it in too low light, it'll turn green. So there you go. You've got your indicator that tells you you've got to move your ivy up into a brighter light level, okay? Down below, I also have Peperomia. Now, this type of peperomia has been really, really popular, very trendy. It's called a pancake peperomia, or some people call it Chinese money plant, okay? The peperomia family in general is a fantastic medium light plant. All different colors, all different foliage types, even trailing types in that family. So do look for the peperomia. There's a lot of variety and variegation, and you'll really enjoy them in the office or at home. This little guy, this variegated sort of polkadot plant is just what it is. It's the polkadot plant we call hypoestes. It comes in white, pink, and usually a red hue. And these plants, again, are great for terrariums, fairy gardens. They stay on the smaller side. Again, even moisture with them is really good. Once they dry out, it's really hard to bring them back. So do try to keep them, on the moist side. I have Dracaena. Now, this is a common type of Dracaena, or what we call a dragon tree. And Dracaenas can grow very tall, can stay shorter. There's all different variegated types. Some of the foliage is thicker, solid color. Some of it is thinner, like this one, and has a lot of color on the margins, okay? All of these Dracaenas are great in medium light. They can go a little bit brighter. Sometimes you'll find it might fade a little bit to dark green, so that means you definitely have to move it into a brighter area. But again, great plants to grow indoors. They can stay on the drier side of watering. If they get a little bit moist, make sure you let them dry out before you water again, okay? Not completely bone dry, sorry. Just like dry, if you stick your finger in and you go up to about the first knuckle or second knuckle and you find out the soil's dry, that's good. Start to rewater, okay? The one I have back here that I haven't touched on has been really popular the last few years. This is a Fiddle Leaf Fig. It's in the ficus family. So the ficus family is enormous. You see ficus trees, rubber plants, baby rubber plants, they're in the ficus family. The Fiddle Leaf Fig and all of the ficus family really like that medium light level. They can take a little bit brighter light as well. You really don't need to provide them with direct sun, okay? And with these plants, you just want to be careful with watering. You don't want them to dry out. They'll start dropping their leaves very quickly, and it's very hard to get them back to where they were before after that point. So evenly moist with these. Keep an eye on the watering because the root system really grows quickly and it starts to take up all the soil in the pot. So do watch your watering with this. Again, all of these plants are medium light, okay, indirect light, so no direct sun on them. Again, bright lit room, in the center of a room, away from some sunnier windows, about 5 foot to 8 foot away, and they'll do really, really great for you. Enjoy.